Just about a year ago, I set out on the road, seeking my fame and fortune, looking for a pot of gold. Things got bad, things got worse, I guess you know the tone. Oh Lord, stuck in a low dive again.
Morning, campers. Let's open up the mailbox. It's addressed to Elijah, the modern-day fisher and gold miner, the year 2020. Sent from Roaring Camp Miners, the year 1850 in California. Send us some pinch of gold dust when you are in receipt of our message. Guess I've gotta go. I guess I've gotta go. Eureka, eureka, eureka.
This is Stan the Owl.
And Ricky the Raccoon.
Can you please tell us more about what a typical day in the life of a gold miner or a fisherman up in the mining camps would be like?
I really want to know. I really want to see it. Can you take us on an adventure today?
Sure, guys, I can take you on an adventure. It starts very early in the morning. Prepare for a hard day at work. We're going to need a hearty breakfast. Looking in the gold camps, miners didn't need any measuring cups. They just eyeballed it. And that's what we're going to do today. There was no nice running water coming out of a tap either, so miners would have to lug water back and forth. Some of this water might not be the cleanest, but it'll still do just fine and dandy for a nice pancake. You gotta heat up the griddle till it's hot. Why make a bunch of little measly hotcakes when you can have one giant one? That's what we're gonna do today. Till you see some bubbles to flip your giant pancake. Goldfields in 1850, a single egg would set you back $1, $2, or even $3. Can you imagine paying that much for just one egg? But the gold miners did pay that. They said that the storekeepers and the merchants made more money than they did in the gold fields. That is certainly ready to flip. That is one burnt pancake. Yum. Cost me $6 just for these 2 eggs. Oh my gosh. I am not going to leave this gold field with much money on me. This is a breakfast worthy of a miner or a fisherman. This will hold me over till supper time. We've got to round off the breakfast with a steaming cup of tea or coffee or whatever to keep the miner or the fisherman really warm in preparation for a day out in the river. Because it can get pretty cold out there. You got to keep your insides really warm. Oh, I see some ants in my hot water. Gross. Might have been maps back there in 1850, but if there were, they weren't very useful as they are today. Still, would have to hike for miles and miles to find where the rivers and the streams were that were best for the gold mining. Here's the Parrots Ferry making its crossing for the day. There might be some gold miners on board to get to those gold and ore-filled banks on the far side of the river. We are on the other side of the Russian River. It's a nice river lookout. Do you see any fish down there? Or any gold? Miners might need to scramble down a riverbank to get down to the water where they could pan and set up their gear. Righty, I'm down here at the river, and I didn't want to pay the exorbitant price for a gold pan, so I made do with what I had. This looks like it's just a lid for a pan, but that'll do me just fine for today. I'm going to do some placer mining, which is the mining in the river without really invasive equipment. So it could be done with a pan or a sluice box, and didn't have as much of an impact on the natural environment and wasn't quite as destructive as the hydraulic mining that came later. I'm going to fill my gold pan with some soils from the side of the riverbed. Now this looks like it's pretty dry, but years and years ago, the river was flowing through here. So this would be okay soil to use. I want to fill my pan up with loose soil about half full. So I better get my shovel and start filling it up. Little crevices on the side of rocks are going to be a really good place to dig for your soils, because the flakes could get trapped in there easier than in other places if they're on the side of a rock. Okay, I've scooped up my pan about half full with soils and sands, and I'm going to get some water in there. And the first step, campers, is to shake the pan down. So I'm going to shake it, back and forth real fast, agitate the contents in there. This will get the heavier materials to the bottom of the pan and the lighter materials to kind of come up on top so I can remove them more easily. I've shook the pan down and there's still some water in there. I'll want to remove like sticks and big rocks from the top of the water, so it's easier to sort through and classify the materials afterwards. I'm down to just the real fine black colored sands. None of those big rocks or sticks or leaves in there anymore. This is where I can really get to work. I want to get a scoop of a little more water, and then I'll have to move my pan in a circular motion. So this is different than shaking it down. The idea of this is to get some of the material to get lost out of the sides of the pan and the edges of the pan. So when I get rid of my scoop of water, I get another scoop, and I keep that circular motion up. You want to keep doing that until you only have a little bit of material left in your pan. You want to pan it down until you have just a little bit of a swirl of gold flakes and other small little rocks and sands. So this is a very tiny, it's like a teaspoon worth of material. That's something that I would be able to sort through. Do you see any flakes in there? I'll pull out my magnifying glass so I can get a closer look. Eureka! I found some gold flakes. I can send this back to the miners at Roaring Camp in the year 1850. They will be mighty pleased with me. I've got to take my flakes and I'll put it in a little bottle filled with water so that it preserves the little gold. In the year 1850, gold miners could pay for goods and services with a pinch of gold dust. A pinch was worth about, either it was $1 or $10, I don't quite remember. But I know that if you filled up a whiskey glass with gold flakes, that was worth $100. So I've just got a little bit here, but I think it's enough. I'm pretty happy with what I've found today. When sorting through your sands in the bottom of your gold pan, you're going to want to be really careful that what you find is actually gold. It can be tricky because iron pyrite likes to disguise itself as gold. But when you find a piece of iron pyrite, it's going to be more of a metallic grayish color. It's not going to be a true golden color, and it'll look different depending on which direction you look at it. So for example, if you look at it from the side, it might look black. It won't look like gold anymore. And that's how you know it's iron pyrite. Another way you know is that if it flakes really easy with your fingers, if you can cut it apart real easily, that's not real gold, because gold is more malleable and stronger. It'll hold up. And the vast majority of what we find is going to be iron pyrite, because it's been 170 years since the gold rush, and most of the gold has been taken out of the rivers. That's why they called it a rush. By the time 20 years had passed, the luck had dried up. People weren't having any considerable degree of success with their gold mining, and they had to move on to more destructive tactics like hydraulic mining. And that really destroyed much of the landscape in the California foothills region. Today, people still like to mine, but they know that they probably won't strike it rich off of the little, the few and far between gold flakes that they do find. But it's still quite a fun pastime, and you never know. There has been a nugget found at family camp in the past, and we have a picture of that nugget, and it was actually pretty big. So that was found right there, and there's no reason why that couldn't happen again. It just would be a very rare and awesome occurrence. The better bet is going fishing. That won't get you gold, but it'll get you some food that you can put on the table or that you can sell to others. There's a lot of fishermen out here today in fishing boats. Shall we figure out how to fish from the shore? I think I'll go get my fishing pole and we'll get started. Time to go fishing. I've got to tie on my bobber, a hook, and weight onto my line, and then we'll get started and get ready to cast. I personally use a square knot, so I know that it's pretty tight and that the line won't come loose from where it's knotted. You'll of course need some bait to give the fish something to gulp onto when you want to catch them on your hook. The crawler is now on the hook for this fishing adventure. I hope this is what the fish in this river like to eat. Now that we've got our rod and reel set up, we are ready to cast. Bring it up to the top. Okay, and then I'll lock my reel and I'll wait for a bite on the hook. So I'll feel a tug if a fish has caught my bait and wants a bite to eat. I feel something, I feel something. I better reel it in real fast. Oh no, it's just a piece of grass. I hope next time I can catch a fish. Campers, it looks like it wasn't my lucky day as a modern day fisherman. All I caught were a few leaves, that piece of grass, and also a dead fish. Not very good to eat, but maybe I'll try sending it back to the 1850 Roaring Camp miners anyway and see what they have to say about it. They might have different standards than me in 2020. Who really knows? I wouldn't eat it, but hey, they might. Okay, campers, now that I've come away from this river with a little bit of gold flakes and a dead fish, let's see if I can put it on a boat and sail it down the river to reach the miners who sent me that letter from the Pony Express. I hope that they can get it, even though we're 170 years in the future. But, you know, we just gotta try it out and see if it'll work. I believe that it'll work. What do you think? Are you with me? Let's go. Here's my boat to send down the river. This is the SS Golden Traveler. And when I send it down the river, down to the Tuolumne in California, I'm gonna send along a note. My note says, to Roaring Camp miners, the year 1850. Please accept this gift of gold dust and a dead fish inside the bottle. Now campers, I'm not gonna zoom in on the bottle because I don't think you really wanna see that. But we'll make sure we attach it to my boat, to the SS Golden Traveler. Okay. I think this is seaworthy. Fly away, float away. Down to California, down to California. You can make it, boat, you can make it. It lost its sail, but the SS Golden Traveler sails on down the river. Okay, it's getting late. I better scramble back up the riverbank and get back to my mining camp, where I can start my fire and settle in for the evening. That was a long day of mining and fishing, and I am mighty tired.
It's a miner's life for me, for me. It's a miner's life for me.
Is this here boat that I dug out of the river? Oh, it looks like it came from miner Elijah in the year 2020. He sent this back to us 170 years and a whole river and a state away. To Roaring Camp miners, the year 1850. Please accept this gift of gold dust and a dead fish inside the bottle. Well, golly gee, it looks like we've finally got payment. I'm so excited to look into this gift. Wow, I never seen one of these orange caps before. Or these cans. What is Coke? Diet Coke? Huh. This is surely mysterious, but I'm glad to get this in the year 1850. Looky here, Miner Elijah sent us this beautiful gold dust flakes. The miners of Roaring Camp thank you, Miner Elijah.
If my boat can travel 170 years into the past, I wonder what your boats can do. Family Camp staff, let's have a boat regatta. Splash, 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 splash. Let's go, boats!
Let's go.
Here we go. We've been bamboozled.
And the winner is the green piece of bamboo. Campers, you can make your own boat out of recyclables and then have a boat regatta with your family at home. I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea, and oh, it was all laden with pretty things for thee. The captain was a duck with a packet on his back, and when the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack, quack."
We've surely had some great adventures today on the rushing river. See you next time.
Adios!
Sayonara.
Just about a year ago, I set out on the road, seeking my fame and fortune, looking for a pot of gold. Things got bad, things got worse, I guess you know the tune. Oh Lord, stuck in a low dive.